Hey guys! So in this video today I am going to talk about Triple Trouble. So if those of you don't know, this is a very large scale event that rarely gets completed unless you're in a special guild such as TTS, Attuned. I am not sure what the EU ones are, but I'm sure you can do a bit of research and find them out, or someone will tell you if you ask in map chat or something. So I'm just going to go over the basics of this event and I don't know, just explain it. Okay, so the event actually takes place in Bloodtide Coast, so this map here. The normal meeting area for most guilds that arrange to do this is Fifthside Vigil Waypoint. So this is the waypoint that you're going to want to immediately have. This is probably the most important one. The 3 escorts that take place to start the whole event off is here. And they all go to each of the worm sites, so for those of you who don't know, the worm is basically this big massive worm with 3 heads, and the 3 heads are separated throughout all of the map. So you get one here, you get one here, and you get one here. So the aim of the event is to kill all 3 heads within the set amount of time at the same time. If you do not go at the same time, then the event will fail. Once the 3 heads have been decapitated, it'll go into what we know as phase 2, which is fighting the actual decapitated head which wiggles around. That again, with that one you need to kill them all within the time limit. Not necessarily at the same time, just within the time limit given. I think you're given like 2 minutes to kill them. So I'm going to just show you guys the waypoints you're going to want to take for each of the worms, so that if you want to run around before the event starts, you can grab these waypoints. So for Crimson, since Crimson takes place here in Chaldar Gorges, you're just going to want Fifthside Vigil Waypoint because you can actually run all the way down here. That's probably not the exact route, but you get what I mean, it's pretty simple. This one here is the Amber Worm, so you're going to want to take Bogside Camp Waypoint and Whisperwill Waypoint. You're going to want both of these because, as you can see, Bogside is contested. It's not always contested, just when the event is going on there. So it's better to have both of them, because this one is a bit closer, especially if you die, is less of a run, but again, you're going to want this one just in case that's contested. Okay, so the last one here is Cobalt, so that one takes place on this beach here. So you're going to want Jalaka Waypoint or Castabel Waypoint. If you're running from Fifthside, you'll probably just naturally get this one. But this one's a quicker run, I'm pretty sure it is, so it's worth getting that one as well. Also, the benefits of getting this one is that there tends to be quite a lot of platinum ore in the sea around this area, so that's pretty cool. So that's the waypoints you're going to need. We're going to talk about how the event is set up. So as you can see, I am in a TTS raid here. So this happens around 30 to 40 minutes after the reset. As you can see, you're probably going to want to get into their TeamSpeak a bit before that so you can hear what's going on, get into the right map, because they tend to taxi people into a certain map so that there's not as many pugs ruin it for them. I'm pretty sure if you visit their website there'll be more details there. They do it 3 times a day, so that's OCE times for people in Australia. They do it in EU times for British people and people in EU. And they do NA times, which is the reset. I'm up late, which is why I'm doing the reset one. And also, I don't know, it tends to be a bit more full. So what I find TTS does, each guild is different towards how they set up the worm. What they do is that they get their 3 commanders for each worm, and they basically stand quite far apart, and they get everyone just to split off into each one. And then they do a count, and if one commander has too many, they'll ask people to go to another commander that hasn't got as many, and so on. Another way people do this, which they used to do but I think they stopped now, they used to basically get each class to sack in a specific spot on this around this area. So this hill here is known as Necro Hill because it's where the Necros go. I can't really remember where they all stood, but it was just around this basic area. And they would get that each class is split into 3 groups, and then each group will go to a commander so that each worm has an even number of each class. That method tends to be a bit more time consuming, which is why you'd be standing around for ages. The method now, as you can see, is a bit more closer to the worm spawn, so it isn't as much standing around wondering what to do. So I'm just going to wait for him to actually do that so I can show you how it looks. They're probably just going to do this simple method. Okay, so it looks like they have started to spread out. As you can see on the mini map here, you've got our 3 commander tags and everyone is moving off. So basically they're trying to get an even split here. Let's have a look. yeah, so you've got your commanders here. So you've got your Cobalt commander, your Crimson, and your Amber one. So you can see they're generally directed towards the escort path, just so you can easily say. I'm just gonna run towards Crimson. Just towards Crimson, towards the guy with the fractal tonic, so I can block him. It's just a little funny thing, I just tend to block him until I get one of my own. I can't click on him. Oh well. Anyway, so that's how they set up here. Again, different guilds do it differently, but I'm just going to talk about the other teams that are related to this. So it's not just a, you know, zerg and hit things and hope for the best. I know I got a text message, I'll read that later. But there are also two other teams that need to be set up. So these teams are reflect teams and condi teams. So the responsibilities of the reflect teams is to take care of the eggs, or to prevent the eggs that the worm will spit out from basically being spat out. So they can reflect these, because once the eggs like land on the floor, they'll turn into like elite lava or sometimes champion lava, and they do a lot of damage, especially if you're doing like Crimson where you're running around all the time. They'll like hit you with their AoEs, and they can pretty much, you know, kill you or the condi team, which isn't good, because that means less people will burn, and the event will probably fail if too many of them gets out. Like the odd lava now and then is like no issue at all, but if there are a lot of them out, if every single spit round of lava gets out, then it's going to be a big problem. The condi team takes care of the husks, so the worm will spit out husks, which you cannot reflect. There are methods that you can face block them, which you can do on an elementalist, maybe a guardian if you use elite focus, maybe, I don't know. But I know you can definitely do on Ellie, but this guild doesn't like it when people do that. They reckon it's an exploit. Some guilds are fine with it. You'll just have to ask your guild leader or any of the officers, just see if that's okay. I will not explain how to do it here, but I'm pretty sure there are videos out there that explain how to face block. But basically the aim of the condi team is to kill these husks because they have such a large toughness. A normal like berserker toughness build, any build will not do anything to them. You can have the biggest DPS build in the game, you can be an Ellie with Ice Bow, but you'll still won't do much damage. So the only thing that can really hurt these is condition builds. So that's basically any class with built into condition damage, they will be designed to take care of these. They will keep the husks away from the zerg, especially during the burn phase. They'll try to keep them under control. And yeah, basically their job is very important, because sometimes you'll get a husk that wanders into the zerg when they're burning and it'll just interrupt them all, and that will just make burning the worm a lot harder. So right now, I am at the Crimson Worm site. So right now it's empty, the zerg hasn't gotten here yet. Usually the guild goes on to TeamSpeak, everyone goes on TeamSpeak so that they can explain what happens over voice communication. I do recommend this because if you're new to it, you're going to want these explanations. What I'm explaining here we'll go over the basics, but again, they might be doing it differently, so it's still worth going on TeamSpeak and listening to it. I'm obviously not on TeamSpeak right now for video purposes, but this is the site of the Crimson one. I'm going to just explain to you what goes on here. So there are there's three different, I don't know what you call these, like panels, I don't know. There is a word for them, but why did I do that? There is a word for them, but I can't think of it. Extractors, I guess? Extractors, I think that's what they're called. So each of these is a different colour. So around this worm, when it's up, there will be clouds of phytotoxins, I think that's what they're called. So I think they're in red, yellow and blue. They're going to be randomly around, but you're going to want to go to each of these extractors and put them in. So I think like each one of them is for a different colour. So say this is not actually what they are, I can't remember them, but one of them is like for red, yellow and blue. And the basic principle of here is just collecting these and running around in a anti-clockwise way. So you'll fill one up here, yeah, then you go down here. You can tell I haven't really done this particular one that much, but you'll go over here. You'll pretty much want to stack swiftness as you go around so that you can get around quickly. You'll collect one there, then you'll run on this little ridge here, as you can see, just to quickly get to the other one. You're not going to want to fall down because there will be mobs around like veteran worms, and they'll probably get a lot of your health down. So if you fall down there, you could potentially die, like I did just then, but I didn't die. So you're going to go over here to this one and just keep on going round in circles. That's basically the principle of this one. what else was I going to say? Yeah, so normally when you're running around circles, you'll get the clouds usually on these paths. Sometimes you might have to go out of your way to get there, but it's usually fine. And then you'll go in for your burn phase, and then you'll just do it again. Sometimes when the wind starts, there is a spot where all 3 clouds will spawn. I think one of them is here and another one's back then, but again, that's just random luck. So that's Crimson. Okay, so we're at the Amber site here, because you can see this waypoint is still contested. So this is basically it. So for Amber, it's usually seen as the more difficult one because it requires a bit more cooperation from the Zir. So for this one, when a worm is up, an abomination, or as the people in TTS called it, A-bomb, it will spawn around, I don't know where, like around here, and it'll go around in like an arc, so like that. What you've got to do, you've got to kill this abomination when the commander tells you to, and it'll explode, and where it explodes there'll be like a red circle. You've got to stand in a circle in order to get this buff called Tasty. Once you've got the Tasty buff, you'll run around, I think it's here where this green thing is, perhaps. It'll be like an arrow on the map. I'll show you this later when I'm showing you the footage. You'll want to stack on here. You need 20 people to be stacked here for the worm to prop burrow under the ground, because it actually spawns like here. The worm spawns right here, so it'll go underground and it'll spawn back here and eat you all up. Once you're inside the worm, because you're obviously eaten up, behind you there will be a Fallen Adventurer's rifle. You're going to want to pick this up and aim for the pyloric valve, which is in the front. So you're going to use that gun to kill this, and then he'll spit you out once it's down. You're not going to want to drop your gun, you don't want to drop it at all. Keep hold of it, you'll only have 1 shot left, so do not use it to shoot a random veteran. You're going to want to run around and find a place where there's no enemies obstructing you, so that you have a clear shot of the worm, and then you're going to use that last shot to get rid of the worm's little shield thing. I don't know what it has, but you need to use that shot to get the worm vulnerable. Once the worm is vulnerable, he'll go into a burn phase, and that is when you will do your damage. And then he'll exit a burn phase and you'll have to do it all again. Now, once you're out of burn phase, you may still have something called the debuff. I can't remember what it's called. Tasty, not tasty, I don't know. This is the debuff that upsets stomach. That's it, upset stomach. Yeah, I remembered. You'll have this debuff that stops you from being able to. Oh my god, this Dolly's attacking me. It'll stop you from being able to get that tasty buff again from the abomination. So usually if you still have it at this time, your commander will ask you to kill veteran worms hanging around. So just to help you 2 teams, which I've already explained, because veteran worms can actually like wipe out the reflect team if they're standing near them, or the Condi team. So you're going to do that, and once that upset stomach debuff is gone, then you're going to just stack on the abomination, wait for the commander to say to kill it, and rinse and repeat. Basically, that is Amber. Again, this is a very brief explanation. I'm sure if you enter TeamSpeak for this event, it'll be given in more details, but I'm just going over it quickly. Okay, so I am at the Cobalt site now. This is where Cobalt spawns. It spawns probably around here, give or take. So Cobalt is quite basic. The strategy for this one is not too hard. Usually, you know, most people can get this one. So what you're going to need, there's going to be 3 different places around this area where kegs will spawn. So you're going to want the whole Zerg to go to one of these places. Only one place is up at a time, so there's only one place you can get a keg at that one time. Then you're going to want to all stack on this burnt spot here. And you're going to want to place down your keg. Once 20 kegs at least gets on this spot, they'll, I don't know, they'll get the worm to eat him and he'll explode in his mouth or something like that. It'll make him vulnerable, and then you can do your burn phase. So I'll show you the 3 spots that could potentially come up. So, and the names that most commanders give them. Again, this is not all commanders call this, but a lot of them do. So this one here is known as Easy Spawn. So you can see here, there's like kegs here. There'll be like, in order to tell like which spawn you'll be going at, there'll be like a keg symbol on the minimap when the event starts. I'll show you this later. So this one's called Easy Spawn because you don't need to jump over anything, you just grab a keg and then run over here to the burnt spot. Again, another important thing is don't just grab kegs and run it, wait until your commander says to pick them up, because they'll often be like, you know, stragglers, or there'll be enemies you need to kill. Just wait until your commander, so everyone goes as a group, and you'll definitely get that. At least 20 people stacked there with their kegs and dropping them. So this one here that I'm running to now is where it's one of the hard ones, and funny enough it's called hard spawn. So you can see everyone stacks here. The reason why they get everyone to stack here first is so that if the worm starts and it has to be hard spawn, all you have to do is like pick up a keg and just jump over here. Now the reason it's called hard spawn is because one, you need to pick up a keg and you gotta do this little jumping thing. If you fall in the water, then your keg will be lost forever and you probably can't get another one up for another, like, I don't know how long. So you're gonna want to be careful jumping this one, don't rush it, it's fine, take your time. Your frame rates will probably be low as well. I've always had trouble with this one, especially when I used to play on my laptop. But yeah, just take your time, don't rush it, just jump on each of these with your keg and go over there. Try to avoid getting in combat if you can, because I think if the veteran worms that spawn hit you, you might lose your keg. I'm pretty sure you will. Also, you cannot blink or teleport with the kegs or you'll lose them. You cannot portal either, same goes with Amber, you can't portal, not Amber, Crimson, you can't portal or anything, okay. So this one here is usually called East Spawn, I don't know what else they call it really, but, or South Spawn I guess, I don't know, East, Southeast, I don't know, anything. They call this one, this is just, it's like between easy and hard. It's not too hard, but it's not as easy as Easy Spawn. So your kegs will spawn here, you just gotta run across this little pipe, get on these rocks here, make sure you jump on these rocks, don't jump straight in the water like I've done about 2,000 times, because once you go in the water like that, you'll lose your keg. So you're gonna wanna jump on these rocks and then go over to the keg. Once the worm is vulnerable, you'll know, and then you'll be able to do your burn phase. So it's pretty basic. I mean, the only reason I have trouble with this is because I suck at jumping in combat, which I guess is why these road markers come in useful. And also you do get a lot of frame rate loss, but it's definitely fun. It's more of the more engaging ones, if you may ask me, because you know you actually have to make effort to jump on these instead of just running around in circles or stacking on a thing. I quite like Cobalt, even if I'm not good at it. So those are the 3 worms and their strategies. I will actually show you these strategies in action when the event starts. As you can see on the map, each of the escorts have already started. This one's dead, I wonder what the escort team is doing. So you can see each of them will go to each site. An important thing with the escorts, you gotta see that your NPC actually goes up to the worm place and actually sets down a probe, because they set down energy probes to draw out the worms. If they don't do that, then your escort is bugged and it probably can't start, or your NPC has died whilst running there. It usually doesn't happen in like TTS raids or large events where there's loads of people, but if you're doing it with like a pug where you're only trying to like get a single decap where you just kill one worm because you don't have enough people to do all 3, then you're gonna make sure each of these escorts actually stay alive and get to the worm site. Because in order for the event to start, all 3 have to get there. So yeah, that's the escorts. I will show you guys the actual event and explain more about the worm's animations itself. Ooh. So I'll actually make that into part 2, since this video has already gone on for like very long. Didn't even actually intend on it being this long, but I kind of just got into it a bit, my bad. But yeah, in that video you'll be seeing the whole event live. It might give you a bit more of an idea of what's actually going on at each worm, because I do actually go to each worm. And I'll also be showing you phase 2 of the worm, which I haven't actually gone into much detail here, but it's not even that hard. And I kind of fail it a bit, but it's okay. Just do as I say, but don't do what I do, if that makes sense. But I also, you know, show you guys the animation worm if you were ever thinking about joining these Reflector Comedy teams, so that's also good. So I'll see you then. Until then, have a nice day.